Hey gang, I know what you're thinking, and yes, I know I said I'd make a video on Tycoons in this video's place, which was true. My plan was to talk about all the new events in early next year as well, but I decided that this event was worth its own video. I mean, I could win 1,000,000 Earthling bucks. Now what would I do with all that money? Yep, that's it. I'm gonna get that prize money and no one can stop me. Except, well, maybe the other 30 million or so people that are also trying for it. But I'm better than all of them, right? The Hunt Mega Edition. It's not for the faint of heart. It's for this guy. So for some background on this event for the uninformed, last year Roblox, how do I put this lightly, teased the community by announcing an event called The Hunt around Easter, except no they didn't, they announced an event called The Hunt First Edition. That event had 100 games and about 5 prizes that didn't cost money and was regarded by everyone except Roblox as a failure. I think Roblox at this point was sick of trying new things, Metaverse Champions didn't work, doing nothing didn't work, so my guess is they just decided, oh whatever, people finished it, that's good enough, and called it their new big thing. The Hunt Mega Edition, which I will from here on be mostly referring to as The Hunt 2 or The Second Hunt, because the original title is not fun to say, featured 25 games, each with a token, so 25 tokens, and the fastest 10 to complete it get to compete at the real-life Roblox HQ for $1,000,000. Really? That's it? 25 generic event objectives and you're telling me that's all it takes in Roblox's eyes to be worth competing for that much? There's gotta be more, right? The lobby contains the 25 portals to the featured games, however they work differently this time. Instead of walking straight into them, you have to click a janky button that barely shows up. Why? This is way less cool and immersive. It also contains this bundle. This thing is meant to have the epic face. It does not. It has a scary face and it makes me uncomfortable. So about those games, huh? The first game that I played was Pressure. Originally I just wanted to go in the order of the portals, but then I realised that this game was a horror game. Based on doors. So I didn't expect to get very far in this one. I played until I died, but since I barely played Doors and what I did play of this I didn't really enjoy, I died quite quickly. I didn't finish it, so we'll come back to it later. The second game I played was SpongeBob Tower Defense, which is one of those newer tower defense games where all the numbers are huge. There's hundreds of towers that all do roughly the same thing, you have to gamble to unlock said towers, and there's way too many opportunities to spend your money. As for the event itself, the game had its own challenge made for the event that wasn't too difficult and I beat it first try. 5 out of 10! The third game I played was Tower Defense Simulator, which I'd argue is the best tower defense game on Roblox. Maybe. I haven't played it much recently compared to how I used to. This game's event was like if SpongeBob Tower Defense was good. It continued the narrative it set up from, probably I didn't play it, the first Hunt event. It was voice acted and there was clearly a lot of effort put into it. 8 out of 10. What's that? 3 tokens? Time for the first prize! The Blank Knowledge Visor. I think it looks okay. Could do with a little more going on. Roblox seems to think that inverted colours are the world's coolest thing, because in this event and also some of the last years, the gold track versions of each item are just the same but inverted. Anyway, back to the games. I played Natural Disaster Survival 4th. The objective was to win 3 rounds. Exciting! 3 out of 10. I played Infection Gunfight 5th. The objective was to play the game until you had enough points. Side note, this game's very unbalanced. I don't think the humans won a single time during my entire play session. 3 out of 10. 6th was Clip It. I had to watch 20 Roblox TikToks and then make my own. Never have I wanted to not do something more in my life. 2 out of 10. 7th was Eat the World, where I had to grind the game for about an hour. Never have I wanted to not do something more in my life. I don't see how any purpose was served with this game but to farm premium playtime, because it's such a bland event and it just made sure I'd never ever play it again. I think the map was custom made for the event, but that does not excuse the absolute snooze fest of an hour that I was put through. 2 out of 10. And just like that, I earned myself another prize. That's right, losers. Bow down to royalty. This item's supposed to be a head rope kind of thing. Looks like trash. It's just ugly geometry. I played Car Crushers 2 8th. The quest didn't provide much of a guide as to how to do anything, which is a problem since I haven't played the game in years and I don't know where anything is. It also took a long time just to get around to all the places you needed to go. Yeah, 2 out of 10, great, nice, moving on. I played Metro Life 9th, where the goal was to drive to 6 locations. I can't imagine this taking more than 30 minutes to actually add to the game. 2 out of 10. I played Basketball Legends 10th, oh my god did this one annoy me. When I joined this game, I received a 30-minute boost or something. By the time I was finished waiting for one match that I spent the entire time just sitting there waiting for, doing nothing, there were only 8 minutes left of it. And you know what? Someone else stole my spot in the match. I then did some more waiting and then scored all but one goal for my team, and then and only then could I finally escape the dastardly clutches of basketball legends. 1.5 out of 10. Okay, more like 6 out of 10, but like, the 11th game I played was Fish? This game. The quest seemed more like a tutorial than a quest, given that it was literally just catch 10 fish and buy 2 crate things. Not much guidance was given. For example, I didn't know where the crates were, or how to get across the island to talk to the rabbit, but the game itself is fine, I guess. Yeah, 3 out of 10. I played Arsenal 12. It was a very short campaign, at least compared to the one from the Classic last year, lasting a little under 10 minutes this time, and it seemed to be following on from something that they set up previously. I didn't know what that was, so I wasn't really following. It was voice acted, and it was built well. A lot of effort clearly went into it. 7 out of 10. And that's one more item for soon-to-be the world's richest person. This time around it's... whatever this is, it looks kinda cool, I guess. 13th was Untitled Tag Game. I have a friend who composed a few songs that are in this game, and I consider myself partially responsible for him deciding to start making music, so as far as I'm concerned, this means that I made The Hunt 2 and thus, at least partially, own Roblox, and I'm entitled to their million monies. As for the game itself, the objective was to play until you had a certain amount of points. Don't worry. They make up for it. Wink wink. Foreshadowing. 3 out of 10. 14th was Chained, which had a custom map that you had to beat. In my notes, I called this game, quote, buggy and annoying. However, after replaying it with someone else, I realized that I was just playing it while Roblox was having server issues. So I rate Roblox 2 out of 10 for being buggy and annoying, and this game 6 out of 10 for being fine. I played Pet Simulator 99 15th. The objective was just to play through some dungeon thing, which is already a mechanic in the game and probably took maybe 15 minutes to add in. I also had to play Pet Simulator 99, which is a problem in its own right. 2 out of 10. I played Regretivator 16th, where I had to survive like 7 floors, and that's it. Okay, 3 out of 10. 17th was Bayside High School. I was expecting some crap like Metro Life, where the objective was just to do some redundant mind-numbing task, but this one's objective was to play a recreation of Crossy Road, and the cutscenes went unnecessarily hard. Out of 10. I didn't rate it in my script. 5 out of 10. 18th was Blade League. The objective was to play like 2 matches worth of objectives. It also didn't seem to work very well, but this one wasn't server issues. 2.5 out of 10. Would you believe it? Another item. Man, I'm good. This time it's these wings, and you know what? These aren't that bad. 19th, whoa, wait, the items changed. So it turns out the blank items were replaced by these new, more detailed items after the first day the event was out, which I think is cool. Give a little reward to everyone that put the effort in to try and beat the event on the first day. Is what I would say if any of that was true, but no, you still received the blank items alongside the new items, so at that point I don't see why the new items took a day to show up or why the blank items exist at all. Plus, all of this means that I beat 18 games in the first day. I'd have felt better if you told me I killed someone. Metaphorically. 19th was Rivals, where I had to win a 1v1 match and get a few kills in a 2v2 match. Cool, thanks, 3 out of 10. 20th was It Girl. I was putting this one off because I expected another dress to impress type situation from the classic, but nope, they actually made me play it again. That's worse. I had to play 2 rounds and vote for people. Took about 20 minutes. I am not the target audience for this game, so it wasn't a fun 20 minutes. 3 out of 10. 21st was Drive World. Typically when driving games get into these kind of events, their objectives are lackluster, always ending up as just win 5 races or drive to here. So when I saw beat all 4 obbies, I was a little bit confused, but I quickly realised the obbies were to be done in a car. Yeah, that's obvious, but I'm slow. This is the best way to go about having one of these games in an event. It wasn't mind-blowing or anything, but at least it was original. 6 out of 10. 22nd was Hell's Kitchen. The objective was just to make 5 dishes quickly enough for them to count as good enough, but I didn't expect this to be an actual Gordon Ramsay game on Roblox. I thought it was going to be unofficial. Hearing Gordon Ramsay say Roblox is an experience. He is not a good voice actor. It sounds like they used the first take of every one of his lines.
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
I know I'm not much better, but also I'm not a celebrity, so 3 out of 10. 23rd was Untitled Boxing Game. I've always had a little thing with games titled in that format. Why is it untitled? Were you that lazy? The same can be said for Tag Game from earlier. Anyway, the objective was to beat 2 AI at boxing. Apparently these guys were world champions that encode the power of the Void, so I apparently had my work cut out for me. They spent most of the match attacking me with literal swords while I beat them with my fists, and despite no prior training and acting on the fly, I beat the first guy without even being knocked down, and the second guy with only 1 fall. This is a testament to my immense physical power. 6 out of 10. At this point, I decided to go back to Pressure. This was after it was nerfed to allow for 2-player servers, by the way. I don't know how you're meant to beat it by yourself, because I still struggled with a second player while on a Discord call and with all the accessibility settings on. A lot of effort clearly went into the event. There's a lot of personality in the animations, especially the main guy that follows you around. I absolutely love his attack animation, and I'm mature enough to be able to tell the difference between something being bad and something just not being for me, and this game just isn't for me. I don't like horror games, especially not Doors, so this just wasn't it for me. At least I'm not part of an angry Twitter mob. Seriously, harassing developers really sucks, especially when they've done nothing to deserve it. 6 out of 10. 24th was World Zero, and now I have 25 tokens. What? Well, you receive a token for joining a lobby, so theoretically if I didn't care about the prize money, then I wouldn't have to finish the last game. But I will anyway, because, well, what's an extra hour of my life worth if I can feel mild disappointment from losing a big pile of money instead? The game was alright, they made a custom fight. I always find it funny when events are meant to be easy enough for new players, but also need to be cool so that they have this big grandiose spectacle as I beat down this huge dragon with my wooden pole and a house cat. It's not a criticism, I wouldn't expect them to make it lame, but you know. 5 out of 10. And finally, 25th was a Dusty Trip. I put doing this game off until the very last minute I could because what I played of it during the classic left a very bad taste in my mouth. I didn't know what I was doing and I made no progress. This time around I decided I wouldn't explore and I'd just drive until I won. There was a boss fight, my car broke, another boss fight, then a sequence that immediately killed me. I tried again with a friend and it was very buggy and janky and didn't work when we finished, so we had to do it again. The boss fights weren't fun and neither was the mindless driving. So none of it was fun. 2 out of 10. And that's that. All the tokens. So where's my invitation to the final thing? Huh? Mega tokens? What Right. So, I might have been keeping quiet about something, mostly to ignore my problems. I'm not smart enough to do these on my own. They're in the way of my money! Oh well, might as well get a start. So, this event also came with harder objectives in each game, like the Winter Spotlight last year, that rewarded a Mega Token, which grant access to whatever this place is actually called. I don't think it has a name. This was kinda like RB Battle Season 3 or Ready Player 2. The Mega Tokens, for the most part, weren't in your face about themselves. They were hidden quite well and actually required some thinking to find. They released over a period of time rather than all at once, which I think is good. If they didn't do that, then the competition I feel like would have finished within a day and the winners would have been whoever was able to stay up late enough, as opposed to now where the winners were me. They even made an effort to protect the identities of the people doing well in the event. By default, your username was anonymized so people weren't able to go and harass you for being better than them. For the most extreme example, the Ready Player 1 grand prize. That is a rabbit hole. It's just they've learned from their past mistakes and that they actually care about protecting their future millionaire. Not that I need it, I'm clearly not afraid to brag. Anyway, let's talk about the quests. When I've told you about the accessories you could get for meeting video stars, developers and admins in the lobby. They existed and weren't fun to get, who would have thought? The first game was SpongeBob Tower Defense, of course it was. This game's quest was to go into the regular tokens map and dig up a treasure map, which told you to go to the trading hub, go there, talk to the Flying Dutchman, find a key, complete this maze, then play a slightly harder version of the normal token. In most tower defense games, enemies do damage based on their health, but in this game the numbers are so huge that I guess it wouldn't be fair to do that. So I was worried when the final boss was about to enter my base with like 4,000 health, but then he told me that I had won, so everything was fine. 4 out of 10. The next Mega Token was Untitled Tag Game. I very subtly implied this game's Mega Token was good earlier. You might have missed it. To access this Mega Token, first you need to add the SpongeBob Mega Token badge, but I'm not going to say that every time, you just need to get the previous one to get to the next one. And you have to go to this portal on this map, which takes you to a big story thing that I'm not going to explain in this short amount of time, but what I will say is if they leave it open and playable, then I command you as a millionaire to go and play it, because it is genuinely amazing. This should be the standard of quality for Roblox events moving forward. I honestly think it was the best sequence I've ever seen from anything on Roblox. Also wood reviewer reference. 10 out of 10! Next was Pressure. Get a code from the lobby, go into the main game, get this translator thing, find the radio and some specific room numbers, decode the signal, die because there's no lockers to hide from this guy, pay 30 Robux to revive, take a right at the exit, put your translated code in, go play a challenge where you have to survive the guy that you have to stare at or else he attacks and can also teleport, the other guy that you have to flash with the light, the other guy that you have to hide in a locker from or else instantly die, obtain 30 items while making sure you're watching your friend back there, depleting oxygen, pipes breaking, spilling lava, wrapped up nicely in a 10-minute time limit. So it's safe to say that that's a tad difficult. So what does the community think? No. This was a challenge, sure, but was it really worth pushing the main developer to the point of quitting working on the game? I think that's how it happened. They at least had some sort of breakdown. I feel really bad for them. I actually preferred this to the regular token because, I don't know, I'm a masochist. I thought finding the radios was fun, some of them felt rewarding to discover, and the end challenge, honestly, despite all the crap thrown at you, wasn't that hard. Just rush through it and you're fine. It takes like 5 minutes, and I think you get to retry that part infinitely without doing the rest again. 7 out of 10. And now we have 3, that's enough to unlock our first item. Or not. To actually unlock the item, you had to complete the puzzle you unlocked by reaching the corresponding amount of mega tokens. These puzzles got easier depending on how many people had beaten them. They were all impossibly hard when I reached them, trust me, the footage is lying. For the first puzzle, you had to slide these blocks onto the green tiles. These puzzles aren't anything mind-blowing, but they're a fun little distraction between unlocking mega tokens, and they were released in a way that meant if you were unlocking them as they came out, then you get a puzzle a day. And now we get these bunny ears. Happy Easter, Roblox, screw you too. The 4th mega token was found in Chained, but I don't think it was meant to be. This one was an obby where for the most part you weren't chained, so it could just be any nondescript obby. I couldn't decide if it wanted to be obnoxious or fine. Like, some parts are okay, and some parts of the button room are the floating rock part. Here's a tip for the button room. The rock part, you're on your own. You can't do anything to avoid the boulders, just herp. It ends with running away from this boulder. I don't know if I meant to take the evil boulder thing seriously, but the game was very adamant on it hating us. 4 out of 10. The 5th was found in Rivals. This one was miserable. After doing the target part in a public server about 3 times to no avail, I decided to try it in a private server, which finally worked. You then have to do a bit of just playing the game, then beat a stupidly annoying boss. 3 out of 10. The next was in Clipper. Oh god, you couldn't pay me to watch any more Roblox TikToks. Well, I guess you could actually, that's kind of what I'm here for. So, remember how Untitled Tag Game had something that to me should redefine what a Roblox event is? Well, this one's mega token took 8 minutes to do. It isn't even hidden, and all it is just reading a riddle, putting on a hat, going to a location, finding these cameras, and then claiming your token. Right. So this game's contribution to this event with $1 million prize was to watch 20 TikToks, make one, then put on some hats and go to 5 places. 3 out of 10. 7th was World 0. You had to go into this cave, solve the puzzle, then go beat this fairly easy boss. Sure, I died once, but shut up! This was kind of just a regular event, but you solve a puzzle instead of holding left click on some enemies. 5 out of 10. And that's another puzzle. This time we have to... I don't really know. I won after I got a block to slide over this part, but that was really easy to do. Okay. I also got this shoulder accessory. That's all I can call it. I don't like these fragmented looking items, they always look messy. I do like, however, that the main lobby changes the more mega tokens you have. I think that's really fun. 8th was a dusty trip. Hello, old friend. Calm down, it's okay. At least it wasn't in this event. So you have to bring 11 batteries up this obby. Yeah, sure, let's do this obby 11 times. Fun, right? Then go into the portal with this not at all janky cutscene and fight this boss after like 2 minutes of dialogue. This boss fight drags on way too long to say there's no variation in the attacks. My friend died because he managed to shoot his gun in his own general direction, causing his untimely demise, so I had to do it alone, knowing if I die, I'd have to sit through all of this again. So I did it, and then the boss turned into a second boss, which was even more annoying, but not difficult, so just boring, and after I beat it, we both got the token, because you didn't even have to be alive to receive it. Fun! 2 out of 10! 9th was Infection Gunfight. You had to find goggles and then attack people in a specific order to spell out Mega, and if you messed up, start again. This was a lot worse on release, but it took me 3 minutes after it was nerfed, so go figure. 5 out of 10. 10th was Basketball Legends. Oh god, where you had to pull this lever, find 3 numbers, except you only really needed 1 because the numbers were meant to be in an order of which shape to score a goal or whatever the basketball term for that is, and given that there were only 3, I just did it both ways to see which one worked. You then had to score more points than this AI in a short amount of time, a huge contrast to the 30 minutes of nothing I spent on the regular token. I lost on my first attempt by literally a second, but absolutely cleared him on my second attempt. This was fun, I liked timing the throw. 6 out of 10. 11th was Metro Life. You had to do 3 chores around the map and then go find 4 numbers and dig up a safe that you unlock with said numbers. I would not have been able to do these without our Lord and Saviour Connor 3D. That can be said for most of these events, but especially this one. Anyway, this wasn't particularly fun or anything. It was actually right on par with the original quest for driving to 6 locations, just this time I had to drive to 8, or teleport to 3 and drive to 5. 4 out of 10. 12th was Hell's Kitchen, where you had to get this code from the main game, go back to the lobby and into the basement and input it, complete the short obby, find the 4 recipe scraps, and then prepare the beef Wellington with a good enough score, return the recipe, and get your mega token. Yay. 6 out of 10. And we've unlocked another minigame. This time it's a sliding picture puzzle. Does anyone actually like these? After trying for about 10 minutes, I gave up and turned to YouTube. I did not have fun with this. The prize is a new TV hat, which is cool. The gold track variant is way cooler. A mechanical Mr. Robot, which is kind of the whole reason I even played this far into the event. Well, and for the $1 million, of course. I feel like they made that with the intention of people preferring or wanting that and being like, well, I might as well buy the gold track. But Roblox, come on, you think that'll work on me? Yeah. 13th was Arsenal. You had to go to a specific part of the original Tokens game and shoot a target above you, then solve a puzzle, then another puzzle, and then play a Pokemon-style RPG for a while. I don't really like RPGs, and it didn't help that the mechanics weren't very in-depth, but I don't expect them to be. It's a Roblox event that lasts for 10 days, there's only so much effort that you need to put in, but I didn't find it particularly fun, sadly. Still, a lot of effort clearly went into it, and that's definitely commendable, and the puzzles were fun. 7 out of 10. 14th was Natural Disaster Survival. You had to interact with the NPC on the map and then click the center to spawn. You then go to this underground room with these models of 4 maps. This might be the most content this game has seen an update in over a decade. You then wait for these maps to show up, or force them to if you're on a 300 Robux private server, interact with the NPC again, and it gives you a hint on which disaster to apply to the map's model. This takes forever, and I decided to brute force it after getting 2 of them because I didn't feel like waiting any longer. 3 out of 10. 15th was Eat the World. I seriously can't see a universe where this game exists for anything else than to farm premium playtime. Look, first, walk around the entire map very slowly to find a button, walk to this cave, do this stupidly long and easy memory game, throw a part of this wall, walk through here, walk up this map while this egg tries to destroy the map which can make you start over, get the token. All you do is walk. There's no gameplay. It feels like a lazy myth game, not a component of a $1 million prize event. 1 out of 10. 16th was Car Crashers 2. You had to go into this portal, then interact with this thing, then go out of the game, and then go back into the game, and then go into this portal, and then complete a round and click this box, then go out of the game and back into the game, and then back into the portal, and then go back down and interact with this thing, then go out of the game, and then go back into the game, and then drive into nearly all the crushers on the first road, and go back into the portal, and then die in the freezer part of the first row, and then go back to the thing, and then open the door, and as you make a token. Yeah, 3 out of 10. Can we move on? 17th was Blade League. You had to find 4 numbers across 4 maps and then beat this boss. Not exactly fun, but it was pretty easy, I guess. 4 out of 10. 18th was Bayside High School. I don't really know what I had to do. I just mindlessly followed the Connor 3D tutorial, then played the hard mode of that Crossy Road. 4 out of 10. And now for another puzzle. This time it's a laser redirection puzzle. I like these. This was fun. Best event ever. Thank you, Roblox. The item is this sword. It looks fine. Again, I don't really like items that are meant to look broken. They just look too rough. Fun fact, this zone originally had a bug that just banned a ton of people because it assumed they were exploiting to be there or something like that. To make up for this, they released this t-shirt, which was given to everyone affected by the ban wave, which I think is genuinely really funny. I like it when Roblox makes fun of themselves for their mistakes. It almost makes me forget about how they've wronged me. Almost. Now for the final batch of games before I get to compete for my million. 19th was Regretivator. Push this button, find 4 notes among the floors, find 4 floppy disks, decode them, put the results together and unlock this safe. The notes spawned on nearly if not every floor, so it wasn't some boring and grindy quest, it was instead just fine. Also would reviewer reference. 4 out of 10. 20th was Tower Defense Simulator. You had to input this code into the computer in the credits area and then go and beat the mega version of the event. I think it was harder. I don't really know what was different. I beat it first try. 5 out of 10. What's that? Not enough controversy? How about we go back to Pet Simulator 99 for its mega token? If anyone was to rig the event for financial game, I would believe it would be big games. Okay, so, go do another raid. I guess you'd figure that out. Complete the raid. Go back through to this specific door. Type knock knock. Okay, sure, believable I guess. Go through, then leave, then go back to the rune room, then click these specific runes that have no click indicator. Okay. Go back into the house and interact with the pot. Now go back out and click on all the clovers in the room with the houses in the room prior. Go back and you're done. All the other quests I believe were fair enough to be figured out. You could reasonably find them if you were looking for them, but this one? There's no way, right? Now I'm not saying anything, but some people alleged that someone may have been an insider with the development team of this game that told them how to do it, and if any game was to rig an event in a pursuit of money... 0.5 out of 10. 22nd was Drive World. Teleport here, drive this ball all the way to the other side of the map, teleport near enough to some UFOs, piece together the code, jankily input it, mega token, yay. 3 out of 10. 23rd was Untitled Boxing Game. Slowly walk all the way to the back of the lobby, climb up this rope, play this minigame that has nothing to do with anything else. Hope that the infinite dashing actually activates the cutscene thing that it's meant to activate, because I had to do it about 5 times before it worked. Beat this somewhat annoying obby where you can barely see anything, beat this boss with 3 phases. If you couldn't tell, I didn't really like this one very much. 3 out of 10. 24th was It Girl, where you had to finish a round to get into the lobby, grab this remote, find 3 randomly placed very small batteries around the lobby and the map, click a few times, watch this cutscene where these disgusting abominations tell you some story, find some stuff around this lab, beat this obby, shoot this glass, open this door, beat this boss. The boss is really easy, just unlocking the computers is quite annoying, but overall it's not that difficult and it just takes some time. There's also voice acting, which isn't terrible. 5 out of 10. Finally, 25th was Fish. I didn't actually expect to finish this event, but I did. This was the only quest in the event that required me to just grind the game out so I could progress to a point where I had a boat. Granted, I could have done what I did for the regular token, but I couldn't be bothered to swim all that distance. So after grinding a bit, I took the boat up to where I needed to be, aligned these totem poles, did the stupid annoying maze with the timer, failed, barely made it, then recorded my screen to get the musical notes, caught 8 fish because why not make me catch 8 more fish, matched the fish to their notes order, and then finally earned the last mega token. 4 out of 10. Alright. To reach this point, I slayed beasts that have tormented worlds for millennia, defeated Satan's disciples, fought back against long-forgotten creatures of Roblox lore, watched 20 TikToks, caught at least 18 fish, saved a whole town, survived the depths of the earth, and played Pet Simulator 99 twice. Which means it's time for the last puzzle, of course! This time I actually made it to the expert puzzle, as I did every other time, because I was the first to beat everything all the time, because I'm the best and I'm gonna win the $1 million. You had to fill in all the coloured parts with the blocks on the side. I did this by myself with no external help or tutorials, please ignore the footage that says otherwise. You were then teleported to the Mega Zone, where you could claim the cape from the event track, and then go walk up and claim your crown. You can guess my opinion on the cape by its name, Cape of Fragmentation, and I think that the crown, or diadem, looks alright. The event ended after only 10 days, which once again is way too short, and then on the 4th of April the mega final happened. You'd think they'd run the event until the final and then stream it in the game as some kind of grand ending, but whatever I guess. I think this event was okay. I've seen a lot of positivity towards it, but I wouldn't say it was incredible. I mean, the average score that I gave for games was about 4, meaning that most of the games were just below average. I think what made this event work though was the sequential releasing of the mega tokens. I imagine for everyone that doesn't have an insane level of skill and intellect like myself, it was fun to figure out which games had the mega tokens and how to get them. The lobby has puzzles scattered about that implied what the next game would be, though if you weren't the first you could just check any social media or look at the game's badges. However, I was sleeping when most of them came out, so if I wasn't good at playing Roblox in my sleep, then I don't know how I would have stood any chance. And then what about the rest of the world who was sleeping at those times? And what about people with bad computers or internet? So this event really turned into a contest of who has the worst sleep schedule, best computer, and best internet. Also, 7 of the 10 original winners were part of the same group. That's not to say that they cheated. They were a very large group of very talented people working together, and of course some of them would manage to finish in the top 10 together. I actually bought one of the limited time items because it was going to go limited and I thought why not, and did it. I don't know if it was worth it, but at least it wasn't priced as awfully as some of the previous events items. What was ridiculously priced was the gold track version of the final prize. I don't know why this isn't included in the gold track itself, but thanks Roblox. Also, at some point in the main lobby this bar appeared, and when it filled this item was able to be obtained for free until the event ended. I didn't watch the final because I was too busy competing in it. Wait, 4th of April, that's not right. So it turns out I didn't compete in the mega final, something about delusional and 60,000th to finish, so I guess I didn't win the million after all. I should have probably considered that a possibility before I bought that tank. And this throne. I have some phone calls to make.